Sure. So our next presenter is a born and bred Chicagoan from the South Side, which means she believes in the White Sox and no doubt loves tavern pizza. I just got into a debate about that with someone the other night. The pizza that they cut in squares as opposed to triangles. She is a believer also in, I love this, interpretive grammar and selective capitalization, which is kind of a cottage industry right now. The current occupant of the White House, there was a story just today about him using the word country and putting it in all caps, so perfect timing with that. She also teaches experimental literature, and she teaches a seminar called Everything I Need to Know I Learned from Zombie Movies. Her husband's a firefighter, and she's a mom of 2 kids. And she's back. Her name is Nora Flanagan. Come on up.
Nice to see you again. Fun fact, the first time I did this event 5 years ago, I didn't know who Tony Sarabia was. I felt like a bad white person. So 25 years ago, my older brother Don bought me a book. And this was extraordinary for a number of reasons. First of all, my brother never bought me anything, especially in 1993, because this would be the height of our sibling animosity, worsened by the general dysfunction of our household and the chaos so common among kids just trying to survive that. Second, subculturally, we were complete strangers. My brother owned 38 of the 40 top hair metal bands of all time, as documented by VH1 in a countdown that I watched nostalgically a few years ago. And the 2 that he did not own, I debate their validity as hair bands. I was a dedicated goth punk. Platform boots to his beat-up white gym shoes, burgundy plum semi-permanent hair color bought at Sally Beauty Supply, to his mini mullet, artfully straightened using my hair iron to make it look a little bit longer and thus more metal. And third, my brother didn't read. Not in the usual sense. I feel certain that my brother struggled throughout his school years with an undiagnosed learning disability, and I have thought this for as long as I've known what that phrase meant when I started studying education as an undergrad. The constant frustration of his teachers, our parents' blue-collar attempts to discipline him into better grades, the family tension around why won't he do better throughout his school years, all so vivid in my memory. And in the way that we preemptively categorize children, Don became the academic underachiever in the household. His reading grades were always his worst, and his self-image with regard to school was brutal. But he read comics. It's hard for us to grasp in this, the new golden age of comic books, that parents would be horrified if their kid gravitated toward comic books. Now, we stockpile comics to entice reluctant readers. We seek out comics and graphic novels on every subject. The standard superhero fare for sure, but also accounts of civil rights marches and scientific discoveries, memoirs from Iran and post-World War II Japan, and pre-out-of-the-closet rural Pennsylvania. But the 90s were different. Comics were still bad. Comics were for slackers. Comics weren't real books. Still, my brother bought me a book. He bought me my first graphic novel, my first comic of any kind. He bought me The Crow by J.O. Barr. For those not familiar, oh sorry, do we need a picture? Yes. For those not familiar, The Crow told the story of a man murdered for profit by organized criminals on Devil's Night in Detroit. He then comes back from the grave a year later to take brutal vengeance on the men who killed him and his bride-to-be. It is punk rock canon. It is an anthem for the powerless, a testament to love and loyalty, even in death. And while it grieves along with its protagonist, it also promises something better for us, the living, in the wake of those we have lost. We lost Don to suicide in 2007. He lost his battle with mental illness after years of fighting. We were close our entire adult lives, having healed from the home where we grew up and outgrown our adolescent differences. By then, I had taught a number of graphic novels to my students in Chicago Public High Schools, and since then, I've built an entire course around them. Persepolis, The Sandman, Miss Marvel, Saga, Fun Home, March, Bitch Planet. I will spend money in any comic shop whose lights are on when I walk past because I know I'm going to find a kid who needs the book they have in the window. I know I'll go through yet another copy of Watchmen this year, so I might as well buy a spare now. My school library doesn't yet have a full set of Y the Last Man, so let's pick that up too. I take boxes of donated comics from friends, and the graphic novel shelves of my cheap metal CPS issued bookshelves sag under the weight of their own awesomeness. And these comics aren't just reaching reluctant readers. They're reaching kids who fight villains far worse than anything else in the Marvel Universe. They're reaching abuse survivors too scared to tell, young people of color who need to see themselves saving the world. They're reaching queer kids who need the strength to keep existing. I think of my brother every time I hand a kid a comic book. And I reread The Crow to remember that feeling of connecting with someone who felt so far away from me and so alienated from books. One of the best lines in The Crow insists, "It's not death if you refuse it." I know I can't reconnect with my brother this time. I can't tell him how many comics I, and now my sons, have read and reread and loved. I can't go see the latest Marvel release in the theater with him and watch him soak up the comics culture renaissance he always knew was coming. I can't thank him, but I can keep the comics circulating. Thank you for this opportunity to tell you about my brother and about a book that changed my life.